Who is with Vinny Fiorenza? There's a lot he doesn't know. There's a lot he wants to know. This is a podcast where he tries to learn from people who know things he doesn't. He'll be focusing on people from the worlds of business, entertainment, and the arts. His guests are people he finds fascinating and that he believes will bring value to others. Join him on the journey on finding out who is.
Who is Anthony Callie? Anthony Callie is someone I went to college with, and he was just as passionate about films and filmmaking as he is now. We've become super close over these past couple of years. In this episode, we get into some really cool topics like his early interest in films, how it is working in visual effects, his directorial debut of Love and Love Not, and you might even get the chance to hear his funny impression of me. So join us in this episode in learning about who is Anthony Callie. Hey guys, we're here with Anthony Callie, my man, really close friend, and let's get this thing started. Anthony.
Yes.
Come on, it's not even 1 minute in. I don't even think 30 seconds. But, so, where are you from? Tell the audience.
I am from Palisades, New York. Born there, well, I guess technically Nyack Hospital. All right, you broke me down. You got me to answer the real questions here. Nyack Hospital, but
People are going to be taking notes, so...
I'm afraid if I say something wrong, they're going to go, no, they're going to fact check me. They're going to know he was not born in Palisades, he was born in Nyack. But yeah, no, I grew up in Palisades, New York.
What was it like growing up there?
It was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it was like, I don't know.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, who gives a shit about that? No, it was nice. I don't know. Like, it was very secluded in the woods. You would never know that you were like 20 minutes away from the George Washington Bridge, you know. So it gave you ample time to have like your secluded isolation like moment, which I guess I still need.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. How would you describe yourself as a child?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like meaning like how would a friend describe you as a child?
Loud, boisterous, scary, kind of afraid, like okay to get, down and dirty and play on the playground in the mud, I guess. I don't know.
Get a scrape or something.
Get a couple scrapes, couple bruises.
Dirt on your knees.
Dirt on your knees, dirt in the eye, dirt wherever else you can possibly imagine.
I hear that. So what were some of your unique interests while you were growing up as a young man?
You know what? I loved baseball. Still do. Oh my God, baseball was like the forefront of my mind all the time. Yeah, no, I was a huge baseball fan and film. Like I have always loved both, but nice. I think if to be completely honest, probably like baseball
was the first love. That was the first love. That's great. What are you a fan of? Like what's like baseball wise?
Yeah. New York Yankees. Yeah. Always still like I am actually very snobby. I will only follow the American League East. Maybe it's because I don't have the attention span for the rest of the league. Same. But it's also the superior league. You know what I mean? That
is correct.
So, like, what else am I going to do? Am I going to worry about, the Brewers, or am I going to worry about the Oakland Athletics? Now I'm going to get a bunch of hate for not liking the Athletics or the Brewers, but, like, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays.
No one cares that you don't care.
Thank you.
Just so you know.
Anthony, you're not that important. Nobody gives a shit about the teams you don't like. But the Yankees, always and forever.
Yeah, same. What were your? I know you also said film. What were some of your earlier tastes in film?
Oh Jesus!
I guess how has that impacted everything now?
Okay, fair enough. First and foremost, like the
you started early.
Movies. I started way too early.
Yeah,
it's probably I have the problems I have now. But anyway, like before anything, it was like Indiana Jones and Star Wars. Like one of my earliest movie memories is I remember my dad putting on one of the Star Wars. I don't know if it was episode 4 or episode 5, but while reading the newspaper at the other end of the room, he was able to recite some of the opening scroll. And I just remember watching the screen and then watching him and seeing how he was...
That was another movie.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
That was a movie in and of itself. I'm like watching this man who has seen this movie enough times know what the opening scroll is, and I was just like, how? But as a 4-year-old, I was just like, how is he doing that? What?
It's very impressive.
That's my rosebud for those keeping track.
I at least know that.
Yeah.
So, was there influence from your family at all to become a part of the industry?
Ooh, wow, we're going in there. Yeah, huge impact from my family. My father was a huge cinephile and
a what a file?
Cinephile.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's inappropriate. Anybody flag this man? No, just kidding. And then my stepfather too. My stepfather, huge cinephile too, and he's the one who introduced me to movies that he would see in film school, and a lot of those movies, like the European and Japanese films, Italian New Wave, Akira Kurosawa, a lot of those is what got me to want more. Like he had that very good, film school knowledge of, the Seven Samurai and, La Strada, but like with Netflix being a thing and going from there, it's like, oh, well, I want more of this guy. I want more of these people. So I was able to rent things like Ikaru, Redbeard, Yojimbo.
These are Kurosawa.
These are Kurosawa.
Yeah,
and then
for the audience.
For the audience watching at home. Just to kind of soak in more of these people and to try to find out more about them. So that obviously played a huge influence. And I mean, that's how I spend most of my time, too, was just like trying to research more about these people. Because I got weirdly obsessive about some of them, about just
like whom specifically?
Big one would be like Federico Fellini and Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
First time I saw 8.5, which is such a huge influence on me. First, I didn't get it the first time I saw it. I saw it when I was like 10. Talk about child abuse. But anyway.
Was it self-abuse or? You were shown.
No, I was shown it. And then afterwards, I was like, what is that about? He was like, I don't know. It was a good movie. I was like, all right. And then, you try to find out more about these people. And thanks to the internet, you could find out whatever you want and then some.
Yeah, that's true.
So just being able to have the opportunity to deep dive on these people that I only got the impression of really helped in my filmic knowledge.
Nice. That's cool. So for those of you who don't know, Anthony and I met when we went to school at SUNY Albany. Crazy.
Crazy.
Why Albany?
Why did I go to Albany?
Yeah, right?
This is going to be weird and melancholic, but like, so for some reason, I don't know why, partly because James Gandolfini was a big Rutgers fan, but like, I like the idea of being close to, Rockland County, New York. So I was thinking that the school I'd always go to would be Rutgers. But realizing I was a peasant, it was much smarter to go to a state school.
Got it.
And on top of that, same, right? Yeah, same. But on top of that, my Uncle Bob.
Sounds made up.
It does sound made up, but he's my godfather, I promise you. He told me he used to live in Albany, New York, and that was a very fond time in his life. That coupled with my good friend John Sullivan.
Oh, John Sullivan,
John.
Great guy. Shout him out. Yep.
Yeah, shout out to John Sullivan. Love you, man. He's the one who over an Xbox 360 chat was just like, why Rutgers? Just go to Albany. I was like, what the fuck do you mean Albany? And he goes, well, that's where I'm going to go. I was like, why'd you say it in this way? Like, why did you have to be difficult and wait until the umpteenth hour to say, hey, listen, I'm going to go to Albany? But that's him. That's, John. That's how he just goes about things. So that's why I ended up going to Albany. That, knowing that my uncle really liked the spot, and he used to live off Wolf Road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he used to live there. So I was like, oh, I get to, be right there. That's his
That's near the mall, right? Or kind of. I don't even remember.
Not the Crossgates Mall, but that other mall, the Better Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the names. Whatever. It's so long ago. Far removed. Better off. different times. What did you do during college or your time in Albany that impacted your film career?
Oh, is this a PG-13 podcast? No, anyway. So, at least in regards to my film career, I minored. At first, I thought I was going to go to school to be a history professor. The pipe, the tweed jacket with the patch, the grays over here, and you
got most of those.
Most of those. The only thing I didn't get was like the affairs with students. But besides that, that's what I thought my life was going to be. But I found a film minor there, and I found they had a TV station. So I thought, yeah, thank God. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this chat.
This is true.
But I've realized in like a lot of the film classes I was taking, there was movies I'd already seen like at least 6 or 7 times, which was kind of cool.
You could have taught the class.
Maybe. Yeah. No, there was one. Yeah, maybe some of them. But obviously, there's a lot of learning and hearing different people's perspectives. But I got eventually, after working on other shows at ATV. Shout out to ATV.
Well, there we are.
I got greenlit to have my own show, and to have that creative ability to write and direct my own show through properly working on other people's shows and paying your dues. I guess I always kind of wanted that amount of freedom.
Yeah.
And I got very lucky. I mean, there was about I must have seemed like the most abject psychopath. Just this kid sweating with a leather jacket with a movie camera saying hey, I want you in my show.
I can attest to the exact statement he just said.
Yeah. I have so much. I am so thankful for everybody in my life there to just be yeah, no, Anthony's doing this. Oh, now he's dressed up like Batman on the roof of Yates.
Yeah, this is true. But Batman mask and a Star Trek robe.
Yeah.
That was the combo.
That was the combo.
Maybe cigar. So you did all these wacky things out in Albany, and you end up finding yourself in LA. Tell us about the journey and transition from SUNY Albany to Los Angeles.
Well, all right. I guess from sometime senior year, I realized, there is no God, and I only have one life. You know what I mean? There's no reincarnation. There's no nothing. At the very end of this existence, it is going to be the last 10 seconds of Sopranos. Don't stop. And then you're dead.
Black.
It's black. It's just black. And I couldn't live with myself knowing that I was going to teach history and talk about other people's achievements and try to not do my own.
So back to James Gandolfini.
It's back to James Gandolfini.
Yeah.
It always, when in doubt, leads back to James Gandolfini.
Yeah.
Rest his soul. God bless him.
Yeah.
Notice the irony there. It's not past me. I get it. But I wanted something new. I wanted something different. And if I knew that I wanted to make it or do something in movies, it had to be LA. I didn't know anybody in New York.
Understood.
So I thought it might, at least, if I'm poor and desperate, at least I could be sunny.
Yeah.
It's really warm out here.
Couple palm trees around.
Yeah, that's really pleasant to be around.
No, I completely agree.
To go to the beach in March, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. So did you always know you were going to go to LA? And if you didn't, when did you know? What was the...
Not really.
Yeah.
The moment I guess I realized is I had called John, because just so you know, we're going to go back to John Sullivan here. John Sullivan
wow, here we go.
was part of my Albany TV show. He would come up every 2 weeks to help me film and help act in it.
Yeah.
But it was over a phone call I had with him, I guess sometime in my senior year. I was almost desperately pleading as if he was my pastor, which, if you know him, that's the worst pastor to possibly have.
Yes, I would agree.
Just so you know, to the audience at home, all this shit I would say to him in his face, so it's okay.
Yes, I'd hope.
But I realized, I was we got to get out of here. We got to go. We got to go to LA. And he just said, yeah, I agree with that. That was it. That was his only contribution to a 30-minute conversation.
So that's how we got to LA.
Yeah. That was it.
What was it like when you first got here?
It was terrifying.
Yeah?
Literally, yeah. I came up with
describe that.
John and I did a road trip. We did a Southern Belt road trip through Nashville and New Orleans and New Mexico, which was super weird. Sorry, New Mexico's weird.
Oh.
But we landed in LA and we actually stayed in Long Beach the first couple months. It was scary. I had less than I think I had I don't know. I did not have the appropriate amount of money that I should for moving across the country.
Yeah.
And I was just on Craigslist trying to find jobs and doing
What were some of those jobs that you were trying to find, both film, maybe non-film?
Music videos and independent films. Some independent films that actually are some of the guests. That is one of them directed by one of your other guests.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I say his name?
Of course, yeah.
He's Michael Matteo Rossi.
Yeah, that was one of the connections through Craigslist or what?
Craigslist,
app?
yeah. So for once on Craigslist, I didn't have to post pictures of my feet, which was great.
That's good, yeah, for once.
For once, shit, man.
Finally got to that point, graduated.
What's actually most offensive is that, nobody replied back to the foot pics. Are you kidding me? Are my feet not good enough?
It must not be.
What the fuck?
Yeah. No, well.
Anyway, while I was getting jobs in post, but on the weekends I was finding Craigslist jobs for like commercials, and then through those commercials, those producers would hire me for other commercials. Whether it be car commercials or like non-smoking ads. But then for indie film, it was Michael Mateo Rossi.
Pro-smoking ads?
No, sadly, no. I want to bring back pro-smoking ads. Is your life in shambles? Do you hate yourself beyond belief? Try smoking. You'll get cancer in 20 or 30 years.
You heard it here.
You've heard it here, folks, on who is? What
WTF?
WTF with Vinny Fiorenza. Shit, I should know the name of the podcast before
That's
I come
all right.
on.
Okay. Who cares?
Who cares with Vinny Fiorenza?
So you do all these crazy Craigslist foot and movie music video
I guess
things?
for the record, I didn't do the foot things, but like I did see advertisements on Craigslist saying like, "Hey, we're looking for foot models." Okay, like yeah, sure. Yeah.
So you end up in VFX.
Yeah.
Tell us how you go from foot modeling to VFX.
How did I end up? Oh, so I had done a job in post. It was like reality TV shows, and then that was only a couple months. And I was looking on like Staff Me Up for like more concrete work, and I found a place called. I don't know because I'm such a jackass. I don't know if I should say any of the places.
Yeah,
but
probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, because I don't want to be associated with this nut job.
Yeah.
But I found a visual effects vendor house that I was able to get long-term employment with, and it was life-changing. It was because for the first time, I had been out here for a little under a year, and I finally had consistent work. I had a day job Monday through Friday at this VFX house. I learned a lot of camera work. I was doing driving plates for some pretty cool ABC and Showtime shows.
Nice.
That were huge. And then it was cool to be able, like a couple months later, you go, I shot that plate, and it's
What is a plate?
I see. Good question.
I see.
Yeah, shit. Yeah. A plate is basically, a plate is the raw footage that you're working on. So whether it be driving plate or whether it just be normal footage, like a plate can be called anything, whatever the raw footage that needs to be worked on afterwards.
Like sometimes it could be B-roll, like
not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
No. That's a good distinction. It's really whatever's in the cut. A plate is what's in the cut, and you call it a plate because it's like just what needs to be built on top of. You got to make a meal out of it. So. I hate myself for saying that. I really do.
Well, it is what it is. That's your world. So explain what VFX is and like what do you do? Like what do VFX people do?
Okay, I see. So yeah. So visual effects is all of the added CGI done in a movie or TV show. So not to be confused with special effects. A lot of times, even in like very high regarded articles and magazines, you see special effects being confused with VFX. Special effects are things like explosions that happen on set or like any type of stunts, and and those guys do a lot of work. It's amazing. Yeah. But VFX is exclusively what happens in post. It's it's the monsters you create or the muzzle flashes or things like that. So it's done by artists, by like legit beautiful artists and on computers.
You're a VFX artist?
Oh, fuck no.
No, okay. No. So explain a little bit about what you do day to day.
So in VFX, I'm on the production side of VFX already. Cool. There's VFX artists who watch this and go like, production.
Okay.
So on the production side of VFX, I'm responsible for keeping track of any shots that come in, any notes that need to go out from the supervisor or director of the movie, and making sure that we're tracking all the shots in the movie. And it's fun. It's a really fun process to see something become just like two people in front of a green screen to eventually, on some of the things that I've worked on in the past, like big, giant, made-up worlds. It's a beautiful thing to see. And it happens over time in notes from supervisors and who get their lead from directors and what they want to see. It's really cool. All I do is facilitate.
Yeah, I mean, it's very important. I know how that goes. Yeah. But you worked on some films recently, like Fast 9 and Slumberland.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those experience on films of that magnitude.
Oh, they're so much fun.
Yeah.
No, they're so great. Like, that's what makes it worth it. That's what really makes it worth it to come out here. Is like you're getting to see high-end creatives do what they do best, and you're able to see them bring their own ideas to life, you know, and to be able to see, and it's a lot of work to try to communicate something that's in here, and for any director or writer, respectively, you know, who has an idea in here, go from paper to actual principal photography, and then trying to communicate that in post is a beautiful process.
And you're just in post production, like that's the main like has that
85%.
developed 85%. Okay, cool.
Sometimes when I'm hired, it's while we're still shooting, but most of the time while we're still shooting, all I'm doing is like I'm making sure that any sequences that have already been turned over to a respective vendor, work is begun. They have the appropriate information and items that they need to start work.
Nice. And since being in the industry, you've written and directed a bunch of your own features. Specifically, you directed one. What are some of the specific influences as a director? Like, who are the directors that stood out to you the most? I know you mentioned a few earlier, but if you could just
For Love and Love Not?
Yeah.
For Love and Love Not, I think I stand on the shoulders of giants. You know, I was so lucky to be able to make a feature film of my own.
Yeah.
And the three, I know, like, I'm beating a dead horse, so I know I'm saying the same names over and over again. I promise I've seen more than just these guys, but the guys that I always can go back to are Federico Fellini, Akira Kurosawa, and Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, I mean, all have made phenomenal movies. It's I get it. You being from New York and now living in LA, what are some of the main differences for you? Like being, on both coasts, you go home frequently or whatever, or maybe not. But tell us a little bit about that.
You know what? At first, it was culture shock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was very much. It was hard at first. I'm a very impatient person, and I think
really.
Do you believe what I have to? Do you see what I have to work with here? Jesus Christ! I'll be in my trailer. No, just kidding. No, but I'm a very impatient person. So the culture shock of just things are a little slower. Although I do want to say, compared to the rest of the country, LA is faster than a lot of other parts. But the type of slowness and the type of way of life out here is not, the New York minute that I think you and I are used to.
Do you think it helps you at all being a New Yorker? Like, or does it matter maybe?
I'd love to say it doesn't matter, but just for my own psyche, I have to say it does matter.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest here. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you're from in this country, but if you have a strong work ethic, that's going to go so far for you. Because you need to be a good worker. You need to want to, I'm not saying work should be your life. I think you should have a well-balanced life. But if you give 100% to whatever it is that you're working on at the moment, or whatever it is you're doing, whether you're at the beach, playing in the water, you should give 100% to that. That's going to make all the difference.
No, you're really like that. Yeah, it's literally like I've seen him at the beach.
Listen. It's just like
pool basketball.
Yeah. Just like Sinatra says, it's all or nothing at all, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all or nothing at all.
Well, we're gonna do it your way.
I'm gonna fucking do it my way, at least. If anybody wants to come along for the ride, please. Love the company. Otherwise, all in. Chips are all.
That's life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, he got 3 references in like 2 sentences. I'm very impressed. Our host, ladies and gentlemen, Vinny Fiorenza.
So we were out here during the pandemic. How was that for you?
You know what? It was so much better than it could have been. You know what I mean? Because like I was able to. I was still working in post. Because the movie I was on at the time for visual effects was in post. So all we did was just work at home.
Nice.
So I'm unlike so many other people in this country and in this world, I was able to hold my job. I worked at home. I saved obviously money on gas. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was able to do all my functions from my laptop, I did have a little fun though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a 32-day road trip across this, across like the western part of this country from LA through Spokane, Washington, Missoula, Montana, Denver, Colorado, where my good high school friend Mike McCabe was living. Shout out to Mike.
Let's go, Mike.
Points for being mentioned on a podcast. He would get that, and literally nobody else in the world. But anyway, then down to Austin, where Seablast and Chris Moore were meeting up.
That's great.
Shout out to two of my best friends in the world. And then back to LA, you know. So like I was able to explore that. I mean, I was safe, you know. I kept the mask everywhere. I was like sleeping in my car. You know what I mean?
I remember that.
Yeah.
So
it was great.
Something else you did during the pandemic was make a feature film.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's like a fun. Yeah, so
that was the actual.
He blacked that out. He blacked. No. I'm glad the audience knows you're. We need to brief here. You got this.
I got this, right?
The feature film Love and Love Not that I was fortunate enough to be dragged into. That's a good boy right there.
Yeah.
That's a good boy. He's trained well.
I'm trained well.
So, Love and Love Not.
Yeah.
Where'd you come up with the idea? How did it start? What was it like in the beginning? Tell us a little bit about that. Like, where'd you, actually, let me even cut myself off. How'd you decide to approach me about it? Like, tell us that early, the origin.
Oh, dude, I love you.
Yeah.
Like, no homo.
Yeah.
You a little homo? No, but like, I really, like, I want to tell you everything. And I just, like, I really, like, this is kind of revealing for something that's going to be on the internet, but like, everything that like goes through my mind and I just say out loud, like, I trust you so much that like anything that I say in my mind, I'm going to spew out of my mouth. So like the idea that you are going to like you are very much a part of my like inner circle, you know?
Deep.
Yeah. Like I really, I feel like I can say anything to you. I
Yeah.
really do. I really do.
Same.
You are one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. And if anything, like this is crazy, but like I know this is kind of dumb to think about, but it almost seemed disrespectful to not bring it up to you.
Gotcha, cool.
You know what I mean? Like it really, I was just like, wait a minute, like because you too, I know you're the host, and not to get too much into the host, but it's like, you know, because you're a very hard worker. You came out here from New York as well. I was like, no, this guy works harder than some of the people I know very well in whatever industries I work in. Like, why would I not bring it up to him? This is a guy who's got dreams and aspirations as well. Like, we want to do something. We want to create something out of nothing, which is all humanity ever tries to do, because it is all a bunch of nothing. But that's a conversation for maybe the second podcast.
Or
maybe the third one. It depends.
Yeah.
But like the idea that I would not have you involved in Love and Love Not is crazy. That is insane.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm grateful. It changed my life too. So, what was pre-production like? Because that was your first time approaching it, like ever.
Yes.
Like what was that like? I'm gonna run through it. Like I guess on the quicker side, we'll go through pre-pro, principal and post.
Well, I guess to answer your original question, from idea to pre-pro. So it's like it always starts with a script. You know, my initial idea was the anxiety and the longing I had for all my family and friends in New York. And you're actually very much a part of that too. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
Everybody I've mentioned so far on this podcast are people who are from New York, from some aspect of my life in New York. And I guess I'm always constantly thinking about people and things that went before, which is a quote from the Beatles song right there. Just shows how much of a hack I am. But anyway, I'm always thinking about what was before. You know, and that was, I remember leaving, I guess the last Christmas before I started writing, I was having a hard time leaving. I have two brothers, as you know, from New York. I got, all my family's out there, and I love them. I love them to death. And I
still yet to meet everyone.
Do what?
Still yet to meet everyone.
Yeah, you still
all this lovey-dovey crap.
I have to introduce family. I'm sorry, hold on. I have to introduce Vinny to my family like he's like a girlfriend, because he's so important in my life. It's like, hey mom, I know I've been talking a lot about her, but this is Vinny. Hi, how are you?
Oh my God, jeez Louise.
Yeah.
There we go.
For pre-production, it's all, thankfully with my production experience, I was able to have a well-found idea of what we needed. So pre-production very much involved casting, finding locations with you, being able to price gouge what is the best option, and just very much having all of our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like pre-production is having all, in so many words, it's having all your ducks in a row for when you shoot. Problems always arise.
Of course.
But making sure you have the right crew, making sure you have the right people to portray those characters, making sure that the locations adequately represent what you're going for. And no disparagement to anybody who tries to make their own movie, but sometimes, unfortunately, as a director, writer, producer along with you. Although Vinny was the heavy producer, I was the let's do this.
No, come on.
He, but like a lot of times you have to make sacrifices.
Speaking of that, what would you do different, like with the sacrifices? Like if there's anything on the top of your head, if not, no big deal.
If I was to make sacrifices. If I was to make sacrifices, maybe I would have picked more easy locations. But
yeah, we went balls to the wall.
we kind of did. We kind of went balls to the
Yeah,
wall,
and we
but
didn't know better, but we're better for it, I guess.
We really are.
Yeah, I believe that.
But I just
deeply.
like to like the indie element of it,
Yeah.
though, is that like sometimes you do have to make super sacrifices. So what you end up having is a red camera with a 50mm lens with a guy in a white shirt with a white wall and no set dressing and the camera shaking like this. You know, like that's happened too many times. I didn't want to make that. I wanted to make something that was a little more classical to what I love. And in retrospect, when I do watch the movie, like there are obvious elements to the people, the directors that I love. But to me, that was more important and not sacrificing that to having
Shane, handheld. But how do you feel now that it's done? Like obviously the like work on the project is not completely over, but like that's out there. It's accessible to the public.
Yeah, I know. The fact that it's on Amazon, Vudu, DirecTV, like that idea is amazing. Like I feel better for it. Like the sense of relief I have. I mean, this is something that I've wanted to do forever, at least deep down, even when the days that I decided, no, I'm going to be a history professor. That's okay. Yeah. Even those days of knowing that a movie of mine is out there to watch is amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm so much lighter, you know. It's like it's almost an unbearable lightness of being. Shout out to Milan Kundera, but I'm in such a better spot now than I definitely was beforehand because it's accomplished.
Yeah. Yep. You completed it. What's called. Well, I'm proud of you. Proud of us. Something funny that we were actually discussing before the podcast was that you're pretty good at impressions.
No.
No. But there was an impression of me that you were doing. Would you be able to share any of that with the audience?
So I love Vinny impressions because it's very distinct. It's very specific. And it goes something like, especially if he doesn't understand something, it goes like, so like, what do you mean by that? So like, is it like a respect thing or do you just not give a fuck? Like either way, I just want to know, all right? I want to be clear with what it is we're talking about, all right? I don't give a fuck, but the thing is, you got to be real with me. That's kind of my impression. That's how I feel about you.
Yeah, thank you. It's called so the audience gets to know the real me through Anthony's eyes and maybe a couple other people.
The rest of the world.
Yeah, so whatever. I don't know. The people are going to look at this to get my 2 views. But... that was a lot. So you have.
What do you mean by the fact that it was a lot? Like, if you think it's too much, that's fine, but you got to let me know. Otherwise, like, it's fine. If it's fine, it's fine. But if it's too much, I got to know now. So that way I accept it in the
Christopher
future.
Walken too.
It's a little Christopher Walken in there.
Yeah, do I sound like that? I don't know.
You sound sexier than that.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. I'm sure women might disagree.
All the women agree.
Yeah.
All 2 of them that I know.
So, you caught me. So I know you got a few scripts in the works. Like what's next? Like,
so for me and my co-writer Brandon, he is one of my oldest friends. I've known him since 6th grade. Me and him are currently writing. Am I allowed to say the title, or should I not say the title? Like, what do I do?
I don't know. Whatever you want.
Yeah. All right. I'll say
go
something.
For it.
You're really
Who knows? It's a working title, anyways.
It's a working title. But like, no, we are currently working on a drama thriller that I'm hoping to do after my current VFX job. You know, that is the thing. And the script is actually, as of last week, it is complete.
Congrats.
And it's really tight now. We've been working on it. Fun fact, I guess, for you, and literally nobody else. But fun fact for you, I was working on it before I did Love and Love Not.
I knew that.
Oh, you did know that? Oh shit! Look at this.
I know things about stuff. That's another thing that we say all the time. That's a Vinnyism.
Vinny, and actually, I've adopted that very much. I like to know things about stuff too because, like, the first time I heard Vinny say that, something like an epiphany happened where it's like, why not? Yeah, you should know things about stuff because you never know what thing that you learn is going to be useful to you or will better your experience on this life. So our job, right, because it's our job is to know things about stuff.
Yeah, and
Amen.
We might know his
bring
God.
We're gonna bring it back.
But yeah, the soul. So we're gonna do like a speed round type of thing, like kind of quicker. So if someone were to play you in a movie, who would you want it to be?
Nobody less but Robert De Niro.
Sounds good.
From 1976.
That's okay. Okay.
No, it has to be. Yeah, but I mean, nowadays, he's like
old.
Yeah,
no, I got you.
Still great, but he's old. Like
What movie? What movie? Where we going? Sarcasm?
Well, that's Pacino.
Wow, that was bad. Holy
Yo.
shit. Yeah, well,
fuck.
yeah,
I take it back. Actually, you know what? No, I want Pacino. Because Pacino has the volume. Hoo-wah! You know, he's out there. Just when I thought I was out. You know, like that's
I don't know.
Pacino.
I was looking at you and thinking Serpico, so I fucked that up.
No, you actually didn't, because I want to reiterate. I want to amend my answer. I want Al Pacino in a time machine
was in Serpico
from the 70s to play me.
That's what I thought of.
Yeah, that's
for
it.
whatever reason.
Anybody else can miss me with that. Like nobody else. It has to be Al Pacino.
Sounds good. Yeah. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I don't know, flying. You know, so
right, you could give a crap.
Yeah, like you know, like I'll
efficiency.
Efficiency. Like I'll wear a fucking like snowsuit or something. Cool. I'll go to Iceland or something. I don't know.
Cool. We answered it. Do you have a favorite holiday?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, I do. All right, I take that back. All right, yeah. I guess Christmas, because I always think about family. I think about my family members that are dead.
Softy.
Like, what am I gonna do? Jesus Christ.
Favorite movie?
Can I give you a top 5?
Quickly.
Godfather 2, 8.5, 7 Samurai, and for sentimental fucking reasons, Rocky. But I'm also going to say Raiders of the Lost Ark, top 6.
All right, beautiful. Wow, yeah, can't argue with that whatsoever. Yeah. I probably could, but...
Yeah, of course you would. You see, like, I agree, but I don't. Like, let me tell you why. Like, yeah, but nah.
Our producer JR is on the floor crying.
Yeah.
So I know
he is, but like he's not on the floor. Like he's not. You know, like I get what you're saying, but no.
I get it. So the what's called favorite music artist, which I know the
Beatles.
Yeah,
the Beatles all day, every day. If you disagree with me, let's talk about it. Anyway.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm really grateful Anthony was here. We're going to post all the links to where you could find him. I'll just answer that question of where you could find him for you guys. And yeah, thank you. What's cool. This is really, really great.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, of course, man. Appreciate you making fun of me for a half hour. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. Adios.